Don't Hide the Plug. Don't Hide the Plug is an apparel company co-founded by two brothers from Flatbush, Tafari and Rossi Harper. Now, these two black brothers have created an amazing, inspiring, high-quality brand. Now, you see on Infominds, a lot of our content is New York-based. We love New York, so it's only fitting that we partner up with a New York-based brand. Don't Hide the Plug. Now, they got some fire fitted hats, hoodies, T-shirts, and I'm feeling the old New York design with the bridge logo. They got the clout joints, the dad hats, and you can also have them delivered to you in the resealable merch by the pound bags, too. Now, mind you, they might be New York-based, but their apparel is for everyone, whether you're from New York, Miami, Texas, Chicago. It's a grassroots movement. Get in tune. And they offer free shipping on all domestic orders of $75 or more. But if you enter the exclusive Infominds promo code, you'll get an additional 10% off at checkout. You already know I ordered my package. My package is on its way. So I'll be wearing and showcasing the Don't Hide the Plug apparel in my next live. Go out and support these brothers. Check out their website. I put the link in the description box. Don't Hide the Plug.
Peace, community. Peace, community. You already know the vibes. Got a great show today. Got a special guest. I wanted to come in and drop some jewels on us, man. So we're going to rock out a little bit. And we're going to wait till she pulls up. I was trying to send the link out. I don't know with the link or not. So I'm just going to start the show now. And when she comes in, then she joins the link. Because it's usually 2 links that's in this program. And I'm only seeing one. And usually this one that I put in there is usually not the one. So I don't know if that's the one or not. So you already know while I check some things out. Mother, as soon as you pull up, just write in the chat or just pull up in the back, Mother. You already know. We waiting for Mother with the wisdom to come through and drop some jewels. We've been supposing to have this episode for 2 days now. Yesterday was the verses or something like that. So now I'm trying to get it out the way today. So salute to y'all for being real ones. Salute to everybody. You already know. We waiting on the pull up. Check this out. This is Real Ones. We're going to listen to this while we wait for Mother with the wisdom to pull up. Let's get into it.
If I was your girl and you were my man, I'll give you all man. If you give me all you.
She let me do me, let me roam around, and she ain't worried about all the girls around, cause she so used to being queen, she let them wear the crown. She got my back, she hold it down, right by my side, never slow me down, always pick me up whenever they throw me down. Been through the lies, got her crying now, she still believe me, and I'm lying now. She be inside, she ain't holding around, and she ain't got a bad name all through the town. Every day I love you more, I had to tell you now, and then I'll prove it to you, just let me show you how. Real ones, my real one. If you ever had a real one, hands up if you're a real one. This one goes out to my real ones, my real ones, my real ones. If you ever had a real one, hands up if you're a real one. This one goes out to my real ones, my real ones. She been through, her family hating, the women calling, and she still waiting. Thinking of marriage, but she don't want to chase it. She ready when you ready, a true test of her patience. Love that you show can't replace it. My trinity in this matrix, you just a regular. Nothing about you is basic. I be out late, plus the missed calls. You ain't eat right and can't sleep at all. The scary thing is, you won't beef at all. You got this feeling in your stomach, you can't keep it off. I guess it's women's intuition. I know it's late night and I've been missing. But listen, baby, I'ma make an honest woman out you. I'ma get that wedding ring. I'ma show you better things. No talk, just show, no let them in. We got haters from the know, you can let them in. My sweetheart, like I gave you my letterman. Hope you get with this letterman. You a real one.
What's love got to do with it, baby? What's love got to do with it, baby? If I was your girl, it's never worth my man. If I was your girl, if you were my man, I'll give you all, love you. What's love got to do with it, baby? What's love got to do with it, baby? If I was your girl, and you were my man, I'll give you all, man. If you give me love you. If I was your girl.
Shout out Melanin Royalty. Black love is golden. All love is golden. Shout out to all my real ones. We waiting for Mother with the wisdom. She said she's on her way. You already know the vibe, man. Shout out to all of y'all for being real ones, man. You know, I ain't give y'all no King Jaffe. Jaffe Joe. Marvelous. You already know, man. We was planning on getting this segment out from a couple of days ago, you know, but it been a little crazy. We had the versus battle. We had some things going on. So I'm just playing a couple of records. I should go deep into my album. Nah, I'm just going to play a couple of records right now. While we still here, you already know. It's going already. But we not leaving yet. We waiting for Mother with the wisdom to pull up so we can get into it. You already know. Going already.
If you want to go, I think you should go. Walk out the door, won't see me no more. The industry been waiting for me, and I'm right at the door. Shit, I'm already gone. You want to leave? I think you should leave. If you want to go, I think you should go. Won't see me no more, cause I'm already gone. When I hit the studio and I make a cook up, it's clear. It's just something that she fears. Sometimes people hold you back because they want you near, but tell the truth, baby, I ain't even here. Shit, I'm gone already. Champagne done poured already. I done walked off the court already. All the houses is bought already. My toughest case has been fought already. Baby mother took me to court already. Surprise, I thunk the lies with thought already. I'm right, the judge believe it's a song already been done. But this whole shabak will move on already been done. But this whole shabak will move on, cause I guess I was wrong. Your family turned their back, shall we move on? And your sister kicked you out pregnant as foul as your mom's. And your dad kicked you in Halo out with cops on the horn. And your brother said, fuck up. He said, I think you should go. Walk out the door, don't see us no more. Guess who was wrong? Was in that shelter with you, what does you want? I came back to that shelter, guess who was gone? Took my halo from me, don't know how my day go for me. All I know that mommy praying for me. All I know is that God is great.
And when the rain drops, replace the sunny days, and the money goes, will the honey stay? Yeah, I don't expect her to stay with me. Gone after she lay with me.
If you want to go, I think you should go. Walk out the door, won't see me no more. The industry been waiting for me, and I'm right at the door. Shit, I'm already gone. If you want to leave, I think you should leave. If you want to go, I think you should go. Won't see me no more, cause I'm already gone. Every time I hit the block and I make a cook up, it's clear. It's just something that they fear. If you win, they think they lose, so they don't want to share. Sometimes people hold you back, they want you near. But I'm gone already. At the telebus and Dom already. All the birds flying south, shit, they gone already. Probably in the south by now, long gone already. I should be on $1 million already. Guess you was wrong, thought I could trust you, nigga. nigga, guess who was wrong? Learn who you are around bitches and the lesson was long. You said something about investment, I guess cash was our bond. So your investment, I'll invest in a song. The friendship sale. Say so long already, lock me up, I made bail, bitch, I'm gone already. Can't hold me, I'm giving away these long johns already. And the Jack Mac in the suits and shit. I pop more, I don't do that, Chris. Love steak from Ruth and Chris. Hold up, nigga, let me talk my shit.
And when you in that cell on them cold days, saying, please, Lord, forgive me for my old ways, yeah. They say get your flowers when you're living. Shit, I guess that's why a nigga love rose.
If you want to go, I think you should go. Walk out the door, won't see me no more. The industry been waiting for me, and I'm right at the door. Shit, I'm already gone. You want to leave? I think you should leave. If you want to go, I think you should go. Won't see me no more, cause I'm already gone.
This song, just know I got on and I'm already long and gone. And if you think I have a heart, know that it's cold and it won't be warm again.
Shit, I'm already gone. Gone already. Gone already. I'm gone already. I'm gone already. Shit, I'm already gone.
Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all. You already know how we get it. Joffy Joe. Joffy Joe. Shout out to Nico B. Spoke about. You already know how we get it, man. We waiting for Mother with the wisdom, man. She wanted to get this piece off. She's been having this information been just busting out of her for the last couple of days, man. And she really hit me the day. And then yesterday, I think was the verses, and she was hitting me to do it that day as well. So you know what I mean? I just don't like to have people waiting on things, especially information, knowledge. Think that's gonna be beneficial to us, our likelihood, our livelihood, our mindset, our mind state, anything that's gonna be beneficial to us, man. So, you know, just playing a couple records off Uda, Uda, Uda. You know the vibes, rocking out with me. This is Bando, one of my favorite records on my album, you know what I mean? Probably, you know, when you with that significant other, when you with that lady, that guy, if you're a lady, you know what I mean? When you're with that next person, you're like, yo, just pull a V over, cut the shenanigans. Let's get to it. That's this record. It's called Bando. Treat you like my bando. You already know.
Yeah, 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 baby. No treat you. I wanna treat you like my bando, my bando. I wanna grind all night up inside and keep you coming like my cash flow, my cash flow. And girl, I only wanna spend tonight. So if you ever need that drug, then baby I can be your plug. Just call my number, hit me up.
You already know the vibes. You already know the vibes. Mother with the wisdom is live with us. Say something. Let's make sure we can hear you live and direct, Mother. Let's make sure. I want to make sure I can hear you. Say something for me. Say something for me. Let me see if I can hear you. You're not on. Oh, yes. Let me make sure you're not on mute. Let me unmute you here. Say something now.
Namaste.
Ah, Juffy Joe. Juffy. Juffy Joe. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. This is Mother with the wisdom. She's been having this information just oozing out of her pores for the last couple of days. She contacted me on this build, you know, and I wanted to get to this. I wanted to get to this from that exact same day. And I'm happy to be here. Joffy Joe again for that. You know, so I think this is a part one of everything we want to do because we got a lot of builds that we're going to build, right, Mother? So, you know, you can take it away and start from wherever you want to go. The world is yours. Mother with the wisdom, please treat it with the most kindest of welcomes. Joffy Joe.
I truly appreciated this, and I feel that one community was chosen for this platform. I have my own channel, Valerie Ames, but I've been looking for a way to expand my consciousness, expand my voice, expand my presence, and to find the right space that allows for me to do that. And so, one community for me has been a good. It gives me good vibes. It gives me peace. I've come on a couple of times and I've sat on the panel and spoke and overspoke and did all kinds of things. I want to open it up with something that I wrote called Holy, Holy, Holy Unity. And then I'll just get into the reason for this program. And this is called Holy, 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 Holy Grail. It has 3 parts. The first part is called Holy Grail. Holy Grail, come, drink from my unconditional love, a pure libation from those that ascended above, the dreams that could only be dreamed of, those who received the anointing of the sacred white dove. And the second part of this holy is the holy shroud. Come, clothe me in the conscious awareness of existing, unbowed. Allow thy divine fabric to shine through the darkest storm clouds. Lay upon me your trusted peace, and may I be so endowed. You are the known veil through which my heart speaks out loud. And the third and last part of this Unity Holy Holy prayer is called Holy Spirit. Come, the regeneration of my whole holy divinity. Ignite thy spirit within the sacred trinity of your divine consanguinity. Bless the infinity of thy sacred supported plan of masculinity. Empower virgin alkalinity, expanding conscious awareness of divine femininity. And I wrote that September 4th, 2021. And that is going to be the foundation of Build Back Better. And let me just get into what's been downloading, arising, what I've been receiving, what I've been transmitting, what I've been transforming, and what I've been transmuting. And that is, and I'm just going to read it because I printed it up and then I'll kind of go into living walls, membranes, womb, shed, period. This is how the temple is built. Now, beloveds, you all know that each of us arrive or incarnate upon this earth plane through a womb, through a living womb. And we understand that it takes us 9 months generally to develop inside that womb. And we medically and metaphysically begin to understand and understand everything that represents to us psychically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, as well as physically. And there are many aspects that come through that womb that incarnate with us that we do not hear or that we do not see with the physical ears and eyes. But through instinct and intuition, nothing is lost in the process of birth, death, and rebirth. And that is what Spirit has me to share during this full moon, during this particular October 2021 during this phase, because this is the crowning phase of the Aquarian age. And those that are aware and are able to receive um, the spiritual frequencies need to learn how to amplify our abilities to do so that we can anchor and ground and manifest in a way that detoxifies, that purifies, that transmutes, that allows us more to receive and receive from each other and with each other, also to transmit to each other psychically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, everything. And that all is given to us in the wisdom of the design of the womb. And it really takes a woman, the divine feminine, to understand that womb. And that is why this information is coming through me. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably know my story. My mother was manic depressive. I was molested. I was raped. I was put in foster care in Detroit. I went back and lived with my mother. I was a teenage mother. At the age of 16, I met my daughter's father. Excuse me if I got some green in my tooth. I ate I ate some spring rolls. Okay, excuse me. Everything is for a reason, beloveds. Spring is in the mouth. From the mouth it springs. Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for telling me that. Instead of going through the whole thing. But anyway, okay, getting back to it. I was 16, he was 20. I was Jehovah's Witness, baptized, fully indoctrinated, totally left my home, my spiritual home, my spiritual father, to pursue, to allow this worldly man into my womb, literally. And from that, an awakening and a journey began. It's now 38 years old. So this journey, it's been a deep one, baby. And I'm here. This is my testimony of existence, as existence, to existence. And you take it how you want to take it. You are able to be nourished by what's here, or you can reject it as bullshit. It's all up to you. But through unconditional, I'm serving it on my table, okay, on this platform to you. And okay, it is October, beloveds, and energy is deep, as you can see, and there's all of energy taking place around us. There's all kind of how can I say this? Frequencies that want to be felt, that want to be heard, that want to be seen, that want to be known, that want to interact interactively with this realm, with this world, with our in this present moment. And so the retrograde just kind of ended yesterday. So there's still a remnant of all this different reflecting and fracting and fragmented energies. So just be patient, beloved, and just allow existence to exist. I'll try to stay as grounded and as focused can, and I'll try to keep this going as straight as I can. When I found out I was pregnant, my mother and I got into it. My mother said I was taken from her. I was 14. My father had died. I was a daddy's girl. He was my whole world. He was my hero. He was 20 years older than my mom. Let me see. My mom and I got into it, and she literally, her words were, "I'm going to beat that baby out of you." And I never disrespected my mother previously to this. Whatever she deemed was right, whether she was right or wrong, I respected because she was my elder, because that was the way I was raised, because that's what my father taught me, because that's what the elders around me taught me. You know, this is your mother. This is who you came into the world through. You have to respect that connection, no matter how twisted you think it is, or how twisted you experience it to be. You have to endure it. And so, like I said, up until that point, I had never disrespected her or I allowed her to do what she was going to do and just, deal with it. And that within itself builds its own level of strength, inner strength and endurance, because you never know what you're walking into. You never know what you're getting ready to deal with. You never know what the outcome is going to be. You don't even know if you'll survive it. But this particular time, like I said, knowing that, excuse me, knowing that I was pregnant, knowing that I had a child inside of me, something in my womb, a seed that was growing, a divine seed that was growing, something that had chosen through my choices, through my manifestations to come through me. She wasn't going to interfere with that. And I let her know that in no uncertain terms. And to put it blankly, I told her I would kill her. She knew it. And that you can't stay in my house no more. And so I went into another city. I with in a program for unwed mothers. And it was ran by Catholic. And again, being Jehovah's Witness, there was all kind of clashes with me, even spiritually, physically being there. There was also all kind of lessons for me to learn. I broke off contact with my mom. I went to see her a couple of times during my but basically I was there with other girls. And some of these girls were of all races. They were of all ages. They were babies, pregnant babies at 12 years old. Okay. And there were college girls that were there that were pregnant. And some white, black, all kinds would come there. And their families, their immediate families knew that they were pregnant. But the rest of their families and friends thought they went to visit somewhere. They had the baby, gave it up for adoption, and went back. The home itself allowed you to make your own decisions, but it gave you the with different information on what it would be like to raise your child as a single parent, what you needed to do. It also gave you the opportunity to give your child up for adoption. The different ways that adoption happened, where you could still have visiting rights or you gave up all rights. So it was, that was that portion. What happened was we had to go to school still. So on my way to school one day, I met some Jehovah's Witnesses who were, of course, out there doing their field service. So that it's called field service when you're in the doing missionary work. And so they, of course, showed Tower in the Wake and gave me their whole spiel. And I told them, I'm Jehovah's Witness. I'm disfellowshipped, or I removed myself from there. And they said, well, we're going to contact the elders and we'll come around and have the elders see you. And so they wound up having the elders come see me. I talked to them. They showed me, and we went through the Bible showing that my actions and my choices were spiritually, how can I say this? That spiritually I had made choices that was going to lead to me suffering, basically, on a mental, emotional, and even physical level. And so, and to be okay with that. And because he was 26 and I was 16, they looked at it as I had been manipulated. I had been compromised. No matter how much I tried to tell them, no, that wasn't the case. I was in love with him. I loved him. I willingly. It took a while, but but they're like, you're young. You right now, you don't understand. We're not going to disfellowship you, which is excommunication from the entire organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. But what we're going to do is we're going to publicly reprove you. And that means that they announced before the congregation, this congregation and my home congregation, that I had been publicly reproved based upon conduct unbecoming to a Christian. And that was, of course, fornication, having intimate relationships with this man. Okay. And so getting back to everything, I just want to show you what my foundation is and why the womb is such a big part of this, and why the word back, B-A-C-K, is going to be vital and key to this discussion, because the back is the spine. The back is, in Egypt, it was known as the Dejet. The woman is the spine. The woman is the backbone to the human race. Without her, it is not supported. It's that simple. Without that womb, there is no existence. It's that simple. And I'm going to get into and break down why the attack of the womb, when it started, how it's been unfolding throughout history, and how it is impacting us now. And I just returned from California, where I have 6 grandchildren. So from my womb came my daughter and my son. From her womb came these other 6 grandchildren, these six incarnations. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female. Womb is seen or unseen within you. Okay, just like the eggs and the ovaries, one is outside and one is inside. Okay, it's very simple, but we overcomplicate it by wanting to define gender and what reproduction organs are and what this is and what that is. And the frequency is there, seen and unseen. It is those frequencies that unite. So in that prayer, when I spoke of holy, holy, holy unity, the Holy Grail, the Holy Shroud, and the Holy Spirit, all uniting and coming together, that's basically what that is. That's that divine feminine being the Holy Grail, and that's that divine masculine being the Holy Shroud, the Son born, the manifested one. And the Holy Spirit is the uniting of that divine masculine and that divine feminine together. Okay. And again, it is wisdom that is the backbone of that divine design. And she has to be respected and she has to be acknowledged, or great suffering, great calamity, and great chaos takes place. And we can witness that throughout our own history. We can witness that throughout our own family stories. We can witness that within our own mental, physical, emotional selves. Okay, that was that part. Everything being a living wall, membrane, womb shed period. Okay, so let me bring it around a little bit more. This is kind of going to be like a big spiral, wrapping. Where I am right now is the living walls and the membranes of the womb. In the story of Genesis, we're told about an abyss. We're told about waters. We're told about waters above and waters below. And you have to understand that before the separation, everything was together. Everything was together within that womb. Okay? And we like to say that because the light separated itself, that was good separating itself from bad, or male separating itself from female, or female separating itself from male. However you choose to characterize that division. Division took place. That division in that division happened because of the things that were happening within the frequencies through the sonar and through the radar, the instinct and the intuition of all the unformed. Everything was unformed and formless within this abyss, this womb. It was just conscious awareness. And this conscious awareness is what separated itself. And what we know as the ego and what we know as light is what separated itself and what allowed itself to incarnate and be born. But it still could not separate itself from that which gave birth to it, that which created its existence, that which its existence is based upon, can never truly separate from. And that is that womb. That is that cosmic womb. That is the existence that has no beginning and has no ending. And that is whole. And there is no separation from, regardless of if you think, oh, well, this is a part. You are one body. Your head is a part. Your hand is a part. Your eyes are a part. Your nose, your mouth, each has its own, your teeth. Everything has its own function. But your body. And we are individual human beings. But as a collective, we are a collective of human beings. And it doesn't matter your age, your size, your color, your shape, your gender, whether you're handicapped, disabled, whether you have full use of all of your limbs and your sight and your senses. None of that matters. You still exist. If a part of that was taken away, you would still exist. In death, you still exist. You just exist in a different form. And so all of this is what is coming forth. And wisdom designed it so that it could all come together during a certain age, during a certain time. And we're living in that time now. And all of this has come together many, many lifetimes before. And every time we get to the precipice of what we think of as a cataclysmic event, or the world reshaping itself, or the world restarting all over again, there are messengers, there are messages that come through the conscious awareness. Those that are still sensitive to that cosmic womb, that are still tapped in, or however you want to say it. I've got one foot still in that womb. They are able to, after they get rid of and come through their own blockages, able to deliver a message. That message may be clouded or covered in their own personal beliefs and awarenesses and maturity. But their intention is to share through unconditional love. And as we can see in many of the communities right now, so-called spiritual communities, there are many who have been put upon pedestals, who are falling off of those pedestals because they idolize themselves rather than the message, rather than the womb, rather than the wisdom of the womb, rather than the wisdom of existence. Exploited that divine frequency for cash, for sex, for power, for whatever their own narcissistic reasons were. And what's done in the light, what's done in the dark, is going to come into the light. And there's a cycle and a season for everything. And that wheel of fortune turns. Sometimes you're on the top, but you're not going to stay there, baby. It's going to turn. There's a saying that every dog has its day, and the universe breaks it down as what you put out comes back to you. Universal laws are what govern this womb, what governs being in the womb, what governs what comes from the womb, what governs the experience and the existence of the womb, and the manifestations from the womb. So if you don't know universal laws, you're just out here. And someone else is controlling you. They're having you work 80 hours and you still rent and do this and you got to get several jobs and you got to go do this and you got to do that. And nothing is bringing you the abundance of unconditional love and peace. You're constantly drowning in stress and anxiety and chaos and the threat of not being able to survive, failing, what someone else is going to think about you because you've been put in this competition mode of you've got to do better than so and so and so. And again, it all comes down to knowing thyself, stopping it all, and knowing, going back to that stillness of the womb, where you existed, where you experienced everything. And like I said, I look at me and my daughter, sometimes we get into it. We get into it. And when I say we get into it, it's better now because I have matured. And I realize I manifested you into this world. I manifested you through my choices of a man, his characteristics, who he was, his immaturity. He was a predator. But it's taken me 56 something years to get to that point. But I understand he was preyed upon just as I was. He was set upon by society just as I was. It was society that sicked him upon me. And you got to understand, this is not pointing blame. This is understanding the womb which you find yourself in. The womb is the circle, okay? And your circle is your most precious, sacred space. It's what you and who you allow in. The frequencies you allow in. If you allow in, excuse me for playing with my hair, but if you allow, what you allow in determines what you manifest outwardly. Okay? And so the more you're in tune with what you're allowing in, the more focused, the more spiritual, the more at peace you will be. And so you will be able to manifest, build, strengthen others, strengthen yourself from a deeper, greater, more solid foundation of spiritual strength. But when you're caught up in drama and trauma and you're full of wounds, whether they're generational or wounds that you've inflicted upon yourself through your own choices, through your own indecisions, or through no fault of your own, okay? Because that happens as well. It all comes down to your ability to stabilize your mind, your mindset. And it comes down to you knowing that you are spirit. You are formless. You have no beginning and you have no ending. And everything you're experiencing right now is part of, you're an aspect of conscious awareness. Okay? Your key aspect to expanding conscious awareness. You are a unique asset to existence. You manifested uniquely to express something uniquely that only you can do. But if you're too unfocused to be able to know yourself, then you cannot build, you cannot expand that conscious awareness that you're here to expand. We know that the womb of a woman sheds, that lining, she has a lining that sheds, and that shedding of that lining is called her period. It's every 28 days. It's a moon cycle. Okay? So that again shows you the connection of living matter to the cosmos, to the universe, in the divine feminine, in the way of the divine feminine's cycles and seasons. Okay? And it is not set. But I want you, when I say it's not set, that means some women's cycle is not exactly every 28 days. Some bleed before then, some do not. Some have 5-day cycles, some have 7-day cycles, some just a couple of days and they're good. It varies. But the fact that you get a group of women together and their periods, their wombs will synchronize and they will all have their period on relatively the same day, same week, during the same month, should tell you a lot. From a radar, from a sonar, from an instinctual and an intuitive, metaphysical way of knowing. Okay? And we are evolving, we are ascending. So we are getting past our root chakras now. Okay? Mama wanted me to say it, instead of crowning, we came ass first right now. What's that called? Starts with a B. I can't think of the word right now. When the butt comes first instead of the head. Now we're doing that. That means we're flipped. We're reversed. And we are actually our root chakra is our crown instead of our spiritual consciousness being our crown. And we're having rise up out of that, rise above that. And in order to do that, you have to take that crown off. You have to take that root chakra crown off. You have to set it down. You have to set down those lower chakras. And once you get to that heart space, then that green, that center, that universal center, right above that womb, then you're able to expand your consciousness in a way that allows you to heal, in a way that allows you to interact with other frequencies, because you're no longer only capable of receiving the lower frequencies, only capable of the anxiety, only capable of the stress, only capable of that speed of going around like a chicken with your head cut off. Only able when you're in that root, when you've put that root chakra as your crown, you've come out ass first in the universe. And that's your ego. You know, you're flipped. You're not who you need to be. But can't nobody tell you to go through what you need to go through as a celestial frequency. No matter how many lifetimes that takes for you to get yourself aligned, and that's what you need to do. And then on the other side of that, being that everything is polarity, both sides are necessary. That ass side is necessary and that crown side is necessary. And just as those are those who will be on that level, that root level that you will rise above and get to the crown, on that crown, that are going to take that crown off and they're going to descend down to that root level. Okay, that is the cycles and seasons. That is what existence is. And that is the only way for you to understand the wisdom of existence. Otherwise, you're going to resent. You're going to feel, you're going to take everything, and you're going to resent, and you're going to hate, and you're going against unconditional love, and you ain't going to win. You're going to be at war. You're going to be psychopathic. You're going to be murdering. You're going to be killing. You're going to be committing suicide. You're going to be have addictions. You're going to have depressions. You're going to have manic phases. You're going to have your ups and downs. But there's no anchor to it because you're just out there. You're just out there. And every now and then, these different waves and frequencies hit you. Some bring you close to the shore, some toss you up on the shore where you can breathe, you're not in the water. And then another one comes and sucks your ass right back all the way on the other side where you can't even see the shore again. But the lighthouse is always present. And there's always a way for you to get to the other side. That is what existence is. That is where your knowledge of polarities comes into being. And when you know yourself, you recognize where you are on the spectrum of things. We grew up in with the linear mathematical line, with zero being in the middle, and with the integers or the negative numbers being this way and the positive numbers being this way. Okay? And as long as you stayed in that zero, you were good. You were perfect. The more you start angling out either way, the more you're going to, what's the word? The more you're going to magnetize or attract the opposite, the polarity. So the more you go positive, the positive is there and it's going to be expanded, but you're going to attract negative because that's the way it goes. But the more you stay balanced, everything flows in abundance. Everything flows from perfection. We haven't gotten there yet, but we will the more we keep expanding our awareness. The more we allow ourselves to get out of debates upon knowledge, who had this land and who did this and who did that and who did, it's not going to matter because in a couple of years the earth is going to shift again, and all these land masses that you recognize and have recognized for thousands of years, that it's going to shift. Just like we sit here and we want to debate the land of Mu and the land Atlantis and several different other worlds, it's the same earth. It's the same earth. It's the same planet. It's just different ages. And this earth has rebirthed herself many, many times. This earth is a womb. She is a living womb. The waters are her membranes. Okay? We are influenced and we influence her. Same thing, like I said, with my daughter, me understanding our connection and our ups and downs. But through it all, there's unconditional love. And from understanding that we all have different ways of feeling, thinking, seeing, hearing. I remember being young and my mama I ain't gonna keep telling you the same thing. But I would ask, well, what did you say? How did you heard what I said. I said what I said. So you had to get it clear in your head what was being said or you was gonna get slapped. You had to be able to make those kind of judgment calls. You had to know what you knew and not question it. That gave you a certain confidence. These children nowadays, they sit up here and ask you the same thing 1,000 times. And you can sit up here and tell them the same thing 1,000 times, and they'll still sit up here and act like they don't know what you're saying. And they want you to explain everything to them. One of my grandsons is 14 years old, 15 years old. And he wanted to know what namaste means. And I told him to Google it. And he's like, well, Nana, why can't you just tell me? And his younger brother would ask me something and I would tell him. He's like, well, why did you tell him and you won't tell me? Child, your younger brother does not have a cell phone. He does not have access and knowledge of a computer. You have more wisdom than he does. You know how to spell namaste, does he? Giving you a tool. I'm teaching you how to take the initiative to go look something up and find out what it means for yourself without someone helping you. So what I'm teaching you to do, what you think I'm being mean by not telling you, I'm actually gifting you with something that's going to help you later on in your life. Because you won't have to run to everybody to say, well, what does this mean? Well, what does that mean? Well, blah, blah. Somebody tell you something. Well, what does that mean? Even if you don't know, you'll be able to go and find out. Because you'll know how. But if you sit up here and you're so privileged and you think everybody is supposed to break everything down for you, like I told you, what you want me to do? I cooked the food. Your mama went and bought it. I cooked it. You want me to chew it up for you too? You want me to digest it for you too? You want me to poop it out for you too? There comes a point when you have to take responsibility. And some people have privilege that they think others are just supposed to do it for them, or what's the word? It's their place to do it for them. Because they're what? Their grandma, their woman, their whatever. We've got to understand that we didn't come out of boxes. Okay? We get put in boxes in a coffin and somebody speaks over us when we're done, when this physical form is done. We got to understand, just like Osiris, stop jumping in all them damn boxes just because somebody custom make it for you. And it's so nice and so whatever. No. If Isis had been sitting at that table, Osiris wouldn't have got his ass in that box. Okay? Set wouldn't have been able to do what he did. Because wisdom, the womb, the throne, would have spoken to her unconditional love and explained to him what was going on. And he, from his instincts and his intuition, would have trusted hers because he knew hers were higher because she had a womb inside. There are so many things in history, why it's patriarchy, why things are so phallic right now. And because of the worshiping and the deifying and the idolization of the phallus, the womb, the vulva, the vagina, the breasts have all been cheapened. They've all, there's no respect. This is where existence comes from. This is the earth. This is the moon. This is the sun. This is everything. As well as the divine feminine, recognizing that within the divine masculine. This is everything. This is you. This is a reflection of you. This is what you unite with from an equal perspective, with equal intentions. And the obligation is communication. The obligation is to build. To build is to expand your conscious awareness with who you choose as partners, whether it's financial, whether it's romantic, whether it's family, whether you're merging the two. You still have to have the respect for the womb, for the way of the womb, for the nature of the womb, for the message of the womb, and what comes out of it. Okay. Period. Understanding the blood. My mother was a rare blood type. Some rare. She could give to everybody, but she couldn't receive from anybody but herself. Her type. And this goes into the different blendings over the millennia, over the centuries, over the ages, over the aeons of not just different cultures, but different types of beings as well. And when I say that, let me break it down for you. Some may think of the Cro-Magnon, the Homo erectus, Homo sapien, and we're supposed to be moving to the Homo noeticus. There are so many different epochs. And during these epochs, there were mixtures, but there were, in the beginning, like we see in what is called the Old Testament, you were supposed to stay to your kind. Why were you supposed to stay to your kind? Because it was the same frequency. It was the same resonance. It was the same spirit that went into that womb, that was around that. And when you introduce something else to that, then you brought more to it than what you saw could be seen. And so the world has become a melting pot. But there is scripture that says, well, how do you know who is who? Among all these spirits, among all these different frequencies, amongst all these 7 billion something beings. And the wisdom is very plain. By the love they have amongst themselves, the unconditional love they have amongst themselves. And that love extends outwards. It's not a selfish or narcissistic love. Okay. How the temple is built. This is how the temple is built. The temple being, okay, I keep forgetting I'm used to my camera being flipped. Let me just leave stuff alone. Okay, the temple, how the temple is built. You must understand the temple. You are a living temple. You are a temple that came through the womb, the universal womb, through the membranes. Water broke, you crowned. You came out. You are a vessel. You are a conductor. You are a temple. You are a church. And you are holy as such. You only become fragmented. You only become displaced. You only become unknown to yourself when you do no longer believe in your connection, in your eternal connection to existence as existence itself. Once you lose that awareness, then you're easily separated. You're sheep now. You're easily herded in whatever direction the shepherds or the shepherds in wolves' clothing want you to go. You have lost the knowledge of yourself as being a unique vessel. Just as the temple is built, the temple can be torn down. And it has been many times, beloveds. Many, many. And we had we look through history. And right now, in this age, in this aeon, Aeon, okay, there is a big division in understanding the branches, the leaves, the tree itself, and the roots, and the fruit. We think everything is separate. And we think the tree is just there by itself, that it's not connected to the earth or the stars above. That all have to be in synchronicity and in alignment to produce fruit, for that tree to grow, for that tree to live. You cannot have the tree without healthy roots. You cannot have healthy roots without having a healthy earth, without having the pollution, the oxygen in the air, the carbon in the air, carbon from outer space, the sun, solar rays, solar winds, the moonlight, the moisture. All of these things go into making one apple, one piece of fruit that we take for granted, that we waste, that we exploit. And yet we sit back and we wonder, why is the world like it is? Because this is how you're treating the womb. This is how you're treating the Divine Mother. This is how you're treating your mother. This is how you're treating existence. So do you think existence is going to keep allowing you to exist in a state, in this low vibratory state that you're in? Change happens because of that, because nothing stagnates and nothing wastes. You are not wasted. Even those who are excuse me, even those, excuse me, beloveds, but there's so much, even those who have been written down in the book of life for the second death, and though that is those who are not able, who refuse because of free will, who refuse to raise their vibrations, and they have been around for eons, and they have been given chance after chance after chance after chance, you know. And the second death is they just get sent back to the womb, and they get transformed, transmuted, and they get reborn again to start again. That's what unconditional love is all about. And so when you know within yourself that you've done all you can do, that you've given it to God and you need to walk away and so forth and so on, put the guilt down, put the blame down, put the humiliation down, put the shame down, obligation to carry another into conscious awareness. Can't do it. You incarnate with a unique perspective. It is only that perspective that you are, I'm going to use the word in charge of, because it is so electrical, it is so what it is. The temple, the destruction of the temple. The building upon the temples. That's where the mounds come in, because the energies are there. And when conquering and colonizing comes into place, that is why they take over, and build over with their frequencies over those spaces and places and energies. But again, the earth is shifting, and so those grids and those volcanoes and those earthquakes and those tsunamis and all these solar flares, it is really cleansing and purging and getting things ready. And beloveds, we need to really come to a place where we can come as one community and have these kinds of conversations. Not arguments, not argument with knowledge of who did what, when, where, to who, but what we need to do right now. What the solution is for us right now. How do we build and expand the conscious awareness out for the next 7 generations forward? How do we help them with what's coming? We can't get lost in the ego's language of chaos. We have to rise above that. That's that lower chakra. There are those who will not rise from that. There's nothing you can say, nothing you can do. It is not up to you, it is up to them. And no amount of your love, no amount of your will can move them. It has to come from within themselves. And so stop taking responsibility for others, because that's only going to bring anxiety and suffering upon you. Find your balance, find your peace. Love them. Send them energy. Speak wisdom into them. It's up to them whether they accept it or deny it. if they listen or if they just hear. I heard what you said. Yeah, you heard me, but you didn't do what I tell you to do. That's your choice. I'm leave it alone. I did tell you. 3 months from now, same thing. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I heard you. Well, you heard me the first time, but you still ain't did it. Why you ain't did it yet? Well, I ain't got to it yet, and did it. No, and la, 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 la. We have got to get better with that. And I am a procrastinator. But there's no but. I procrastinate. And I sit and I can see myself doing it and not doing what I need to do. And it still is just what it is. But, beloveds, baby steps. Baby steps. It's like I said, it's taken me all this 38 something years to get to the point to realize and be able to admit within myself that I was with a predator. I was with a man that was into little girls. And so when you see me speaking about predators and pedophilia and the cult of pedophilia and what the patriarchy is doing and what all of this is, and when you see me looking at the different industries and the different systems, music, entertainment, universities, whatever, and they're taking out, no, not taking out. They are influencing the reception, the transmission, the transmitting, the transferring, and the transforming, and the transmutation of energies. And they do that by introducing stress. They do that by introducing depression. They do that by introducing trauma. They do that by keeping you so focused on trends and keeping up with the Jacksons and the Jones and the latest this and the latest that. And if you didn't spend this amount, you got knockoffs, you got fakes, you got blah, 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 blah. What does all of that have to do with conscious awareness? Please tell me. And when you see these conscious pimps running game, understand you're seeing wolves in sheep clothing. Understand that they're fleecing sheep. Understand that they're getting their teeth and their hands bloody while you're watching. While you're not warning the sheep. You're watching. And sometimes, beloveds, you can warn and you can warn and you can warn. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And sometimes, just like my mother couldn't tell me I wasn't in love. You can't tell. I do love him. You don't know what love is. Sometimes you have to bump that head. Sometimes, like a child learning how to walk, you have to fall on that ass. You have to learn how to build your leg muscles up to pull up and get up and keep walking and keep stepping. Knowing that, okay, I fell down, fuck it, I ain't gonna walk. Just leave me here, just pick me up, carry me everywhere because I ain't walking, I fell down. We have to learn how to get back up. We have to learn that life is about pain. A woman will tell you she birth, baby. The Bible will tell you ain't no pain in the world like that. Ain't no pain on earth like that. And like I said, unconditional love. My daughter had 6 babies. She doing the best she can. She having a hard time, but she doing the best she can. Pain has not stopped us. Slavery has not stopped us. Being told we're weird, being not liked, has not stopped us. Being called names has not stopped us. Being beaten, being robbed, has not, being raped, molested by the ones you love the most, the ones you trust the most. We are here. We rise. We are seeds. We are star seeds from the heavens through a cosmic womb. Know thyself. Know thyself. Don't let these low vibrant, low frequency beings take your inheritance away from you, your identity away from you, your peace away from you, your abundance away from you. And they're going to try. They're going to be there. They're there so that you have that polarity to know. Look upon them with unconditional love. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I need to do this a little bit different and do that a little bit different. Thank you. I need to work on, thank you. Oh, I've grown because, child, last time if you had 3 weeks ago, if you had jumped up in my, I would have slit your throat without blinking, okay? But you still breathing and I'm still living. Woo. Maturity, spiritual maturity, growth takes you outside of your feelings, takes you outside of your emotions, takes you outside of your thoughts, and it reminds you, your spirit reminds you, I have no beginning and I have no ending. What so-and-so says, that's coming from their ego. That they don't even know who they are. And you're going to get upset by somebody that don't even know who they is because they want to say you this, that, and the other. Or they want you to be wrong, or they need you to be wrong. Or they're so busy trying to trigger you. I posted on my Facebook page the new Batman trailer. And I posted something that showed the psychology of the psychopathy between the two Jokers, the two guys that played Joker. And they're winning Oscar awards and so forth and so on. And the psychology of it got, because you got to realize it was all about control. And you got to realize Batman's superpower is his control, is his ability to face his fear and stay in control and not lose himself to the ego. But he is committed to facing down psychopathy, to facing down evil. Let's call it evil. Let's call it demonic influences, or those who have been demonically influenced, or those under the influence of their own mind, their own psychotic minds, their own narcissistic needs and addictions. You have to realize what you're dealing with. And in order to do that, you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are first. And like I said, that takes a while. takes time to get to know. And then once you know who you are, you begin to see everything, you begin to observe everything from a higher, deeper perspective. And I call that conscious awareness, expansion. And you have tapped into existence itself because you're aware of the connection of everything. You no longer see separate events happening in the world as separate events. You see the whole thing. You see the pollution in the air, you see the pollution of the water, you see the pollution of the land, you see the pollution of the ego minds, you see what they're doing to the babies, with how they're influencing the babies through the different media, entertainment aspects. You're seeing everything as one type of energy, whether it's mathematically or alphabetically. It's a frequency. And you're used to all of these frequencies before you incarnated. Nothing is new under the sun. So you have no reason to fear. Even those who say they're going to take your soul away from you. Did they give you your soul? Understand that there are hierarchies in everything. There's higher laws, what the lower level frequencies to be aware of. And they can only take advantage of you when you don't know. Ignorance is. But when you know, things begin to change. Flip the script. They now begin to start scrambling. Their anxiety, their stress level begins to rise. And you watch them running around like chickens without their heads cut off. And you watch as idols start falling and showing you that they were not made of gold, but actually made of potter's dirt. Not even the expensive kind. But it's not for you to feel joy when people fall. And understand that they just get recycled. The energy just gets recycled. That's hard because as human beings, we want to grieve. We want to stay connected personally to everything, to everybody. That means that we don't believe we're already one. What happens to them happens to me. What happens to an aspect of them happens to an aspect of me. If they're gone and I'm still here, they're just in a different form, still living me, still relating with me. I just can't see them physically. But I can be influenced by them. Again, this is the month of October. This is the month of domestic violence awareness. This is a month where, when I was working, I worked as a women and children's advocate. And this was a time that was great for me because women women and men and children wore ribbons attached to their clothing. So they were aware, conscious of the violence that was taking place every minute, every second, every month, every week, every year against women and children and against men as well. I don't want to leave anyone out. We're all beings. And but this is domestic violence against women and children. Okay, there's a focus. Not to leave anyone out, not to leave animals out. It is a focus group. And this group is the majority. And this has been going on for aeons. And this energy are here. And this is what is helping us to realize where we are right now. That is why there are so many domestic arguments happening between siblings, happening between mothers and daughters, happening between mothers and sons, happening between co-workers, happening between spouses, because the energy, the frequency is very high right now, especially with these 4 retrogrades, planets that have just gone off, and we're in this full moon, so we're in this new cycle, and I'm just talking and talking and talking. Let me keep going. The temple is built and the temple is destroyed. The temple is built and the temple is destroyed by our beliefs, by our choices, by our willingness to take responsibility for our own actions, for our own thoughts, for our own desires, for our own fantasies, for our own needs. And for us to not lie to ourselves about those. For us to be intimately naked with ourselves. To be able to look at ourselves and say what we want and what we need. How can we communicate that to someone else if we don't know ourselves, if we haven't admitted that to ourselves? How can we have that kind of communication in the world if we have not aligned to? I don't need that. That don't mean nothing to me. That's a lie. You're living a lie. You're putting a lie out there. Lies don't heal nothing. The truth heals. How is it the truth will set you free? Start allowing yourself the freedom just by telling yourself the truth. Just by accepting the truth. You are an imperfect human being expanding your conscious awareness upon the earth plane. You have a limited time to be here in this form, but you will return. You can assess your Akashic records. You can attain through stillness of mind and letting go of your identity and letting go of all the baggage that comes along with that identity. And that baggage is your history. Again, his story. Okay? And that history could have started even before you were born, while you were in the womb. Like I said, I went through so much. My daughter has anxiety and panic attacks. And I know that I look at what she was marinating inside of me. And I don't, baby, bless you. I'm thankful for you. That's my best teacher. My children are my best teacher. My grandchildren next. They teach you about life, about existence, about how to keep going. They give you the will, the courage. That's wisdom. Okay? That's by wisdom's design. This happens that will not benefit you. You may not see it in this moment. You may not see it in this lifetime. But it will benefit you because it was designed by wisdom for you to endure, for you to go through, for it to something. And sometimes you have made contracts to help teach others. And so your lessons are intertwined. So if you feel those attachments, we call them soulmates and twin flames, and we have so many little names and labels and boxes to put them in. They are existing. They are us. We are them. We are attracted to their frequency. That is because the temple needs to be constantly rebuilt. Okay? That is the wisdom of that. The temple will always exist because we will always multiply. And how and where and why is determined by our root chakra or a higher consciousness. And so we're going to have a toe up raggedy, ghetto, underworld, vice filled, low down church full of pimp pastors, wolves in sheep clothing, vampires, thieves, cutthroat killers, gangsters, or we're going to have a village, or we're going to have a church that is sacred space, that is a sanctuary for all, that is not judgmental, okay? One that serves, one that does not insist on being served. It's a big difference. Big difference. If you're called to serve, then you serve. That doesn't mean you get your needs getting met. Your intention in serving. That's narcissistic. That's root. You know that by giving to others, you just giving to yourself. You just expanded your own conscious awareness by what you give, by what you put out, by the frequency, the energy that you give out. Merkaba. Merkaba is the way in which the temple is transported. We walk around, we drive around, we fly around, we move around, whether that's through the astral or through the ethereal, through the celestial, through the physical. We move. That's quantum physics. We're beginning to understand that. We're beginning to understand travel with the speed of light. We're beginning to understand that we are capable of doing this. We're beginning to understand what outer body experience is all about. Um, it's a way to observe. It's a way to hear. That is instinctual and intuitive at a degree that is above current ability to decipher fully at the moment, but we're getting there. In being transported somewhere, you have a destination. So you have to look and see where you're trying to get to. And when I say where you're trying to get to, I'm not speaking of a physical space. I'm speaking more of a spiritual conscious awareness. Where are you taking your existence? Where are you taking existence as existence to exist? How are you taking it there? Are you doing it with unconditional love? Or are you forcing it? Or trying to force it? Are you deceiving yourself? Are you being real with yourself? Structure and infrastructure. Structure and infrastructure determines the wisdom, the integrity of your ability to build, to expand conscious awareness. So, beloveds, we've talked about the walls of the membrane, we've talked about the womb, we've talked about the cosmic womb, we've talked about the cosmic womb building the temple, the body being the temple that is built. We've talked about the Merkaba that moves the temple around. And so now we're going to get into more of the structure and infrastructure that determines the soundness of your wisdom. And so, beloveds, that simply means what are you consuming? What are you feeding yourself? What kind of wisdom are you feeding yourself? Are you just feeding yourself knowledge that you've gleaned from wherever, however? Not to say it's good or bad, but are you just getting knowledge, but you're not gaining the wisdom of it? That's just like, do you hear me? Yeah, I heard you. Do you hear me? Yeah, I heard you. Do you hear me? Yeah, I heard you. Then why isn't the world changing? You ain't listening. You ain't listening to what I said. You heard me, but you ain't listening because ain't nothing changing. Or it's changing too slow, or you're not changing, or you're resenting the change, or you're fighting the change. You're fighting yourself. You're fighting against yourself. You're fighting against those that want to help you. And sometimes it's the hardest thing in the world to accept help from others. That's one of my things, due to trust issues. And the more you begin to trust yourself of your design, of your existence itself, the more you began to trust existence to exist around you, not in spite of you, not against you, not for you, but with you. That is what this the material. This is the material that you use. And if it's all about, Spirit says, determines the soundness, the wisdom, the integrity of your ability to build and expand conscious awareness, then you've really got to look at what you're what you've been given. Sometimes it's not about what you get. We are so busy of not going to get, like I said, with my grandson not wanting to go Google and go look up namaste and find all the different pictures and the different definitions for it and see what attracts, um, what calls to him, what calls to his spirit, what calls to his intuition as the one that he needs to look at. We can look at stuff and say, oh my God, there's so many. Which one? Close your eyes and run your finger down it, or just open your eyes and see which one your eyes goes to. That's the one. That's your instinct and your intuition. That's the one for you. That's trusting yourself. And we have to teach these babies how to trust themselves, because they cannot trust the world. They cannot trust themselves. They cannot trust teachers. They cannot trust strangers. Strangers. They cannot trust God. Okay? They cannot trust the earth to take care of them. They cannot trust the government. They cannot trust the doctors. They cannot trust vaccines. They cannot trust the hospital, the doctors, the medicine women, the shamans, the dee-dee-dee-dee-da-dee-doo-dee. You cannot trust. Don't you trust? And so that's a fear. We have taught and been taught fear. That fear keeps us existing in the higher frequency ranges that we are able to exist in. But we've got to put the fear down, to put the separation down. We've got to leave those things outside. We've got to go in within, because that's where we are. That's the key. That's the heart. That's the soul. That's the spirit. It's not the body. It's not the mouth. It's not what the eyes. It is the unseen within you. But you can hear it. And when you close your eyes and you're right there, there is nothing to see, but you feel its presence. That's you. That's you at your highest frequency. That's you unseparated. That's you unlimited. That's you with no beginning and no ending. But you don't know how to go in and be with that and sit with that and clap and sit at his feet and say, feed me. You are the highest part of me. Speak to me. Teach me. Let me just be with you. Let me just be with you. Then I know how to be out here. That calls for self-love, for a self-confidence within yourself. That calls for you to trust what you find there. And you're not going to instantaneously be able to let go of those fears. Those fears have been layered on you centuries, baby. Like I said before, inside the womb, those fears, you were absorbing them even then before you were born. Okay? So it's not going to be an automatic. There is no microwave conscious awakening, expansion that's going to happen. But you can feel it. Just like a mother can feel herself being pregnant before that baby moves, before that baby kicks, before her body starts expanding. She knows. And there's everything changes, baby. Whether it's a happy pregnancy or whether it's not. I should say, not say happy, whether it's a welcomed pregnancy or an unwelcomed pregnancy. Everything begins to change. Everything begins to change because of the frequency. That's sonar and radar, and that's the ether. Etherically around you, you tap in deeper to the mother. Your mother sense, your mother awareness becomes heightened, just like your senses become heightened. Your ability to be touched, to receive, to transmit, to transform, and to transmute becomes heightened if you allow. Some women, because of fear, they shut it all down. They become numb. And that child within them is marinating in all of that. And all of the arguments, and all of the news, and all of the music that she's listening to, all of that is what is constant with that child. And we wonder, why don't that child sleep? Because that child is still hearing and dealing with those frequencies. Just like when they're here and we see them and they got their eyes just about closed and fluttering and everything else. And my grandbaby, I was in my room, and my grandbaby came to me and she put her hand, she's just 2, and she sat on me and put her head on my chest and she looked at me, and we have our own unspoken communication. And she looked at me and then she looked over behind me at the wall back there and she pointed. And I looked back there and of course I could not see anything with my physical eyes, but I felt whatever it was that she was seeing. And I said, yes, yes, I know it's there. I can't see it. Nana can't see it, but she knows it's there. Yes, you're right. There's something there. Yes. And she laid her head back down on me and she hugged me a little bit more. And beloveds, listen to these babies. They are way more sensitive than what you understand. I grew up a sensitive child. I was told to shut up. I was told don't tell nobody that. That caused me to go within and live in my own world and understand there was an inside world and there's an outside world. And the inside world is always safe and it can always be trusted. Although there are things that will come up that will test you in that inner world. But you are always safe. And there are things that there are frequencies, beloveds. The only thing the only way I can describe them is they're pissed off, they're angry, and they're enraged. And their rage, incites them to want to take vengeance upon you. These are frequencies. I'm not speaking of other beings. I'm not speaking of people. I'm speaking of energies that influence. You know how you heard people, oh, she was not herself when she said that, forgive her. I don't know what happened with her. She has never like that before. Well, you know she was drinking or she was smoking a little bit and then influence things. There are frequencies that influence us, that we allow to influence our thoughts. There are thoughts that we have that we are like, what? Where did that come from? But depending on the mood that you're in when that thought comes in, Yeah, 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 that bitch, yeah, yeah. She did that to me on purpose. Remember how, as children, we little con- representations or signs and symbols, consciousness on the right and the left shoulder, angel and the devil, and each one be speaking and all of that is real, beloveds. Those are real representations of the frequencies, form of angel and devil, demon and good and bad. You're ground zero. You're zero. You're empty. Be empty. Put your identity into something. The more your feelings, the more your thoughts, the more your needs, the more your wounds, the more injury is present. The more you take you out of it, the more your God self is present and is able to observe and is able to deal with whatever. Allow that to do it. But you got to snatch yourself back out of it. Like I said, in being with my daughter, when we got it, and I was there for 2 weeks, and usually we've told each other, yeah, we can be there. We can be here for 2 weeks. It's paradise. It's the honeymoon phase. But you start going past them 2 weeks, then we be starting to, that's getting on my nerves, and that's getting up. Well, Mama, you remember what you said? Child, really? Tina, you're doing the same thing you used. Mama, really? And you have to snatch yourself back. Just like the whole disrespect thing for me was a big thing, because I came up in a generation where in the 60s you weren't allowed to disrespect your elders. You were not allowed. That was something that was taboo. That the whole community would get on you, not just your family. Your extended family would drive up, call you on the phone. They have to come and whoop your ass after your mama got done, okay? Well, I'll be there this weekend and I'm gonna beat your ass because but you know better than that. That's the type of women I grew up around. That's the strength I want to represent. That's the type of strength that's the type of strength that I see as unconditional. Now it can be reined in because you take the emotions out of it. But when you leave that raw essence of unconditional love, what we call ride or die, it ain't nothing more potent than that. And when it's coming from that womb, that cosmic womb of divine wisdom, woo, thank you, beloveds. When it comes from that place, you know that you're dealing with a higher force. You're dealing with judge and jury, and you just take your punishment and shut the hell up. You go in your room and you talk to your little friend. This wasn't right, and they did this, and blah, 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 blah. I can't stand. You do all of that, but you don't do that in their faces. What you say? I ain't say nothing. That's respect. But we have to soften. We have to find ways to soften that kind of teaching of respect to these new generations, because they don't know how to respond to it. Let me tell you why. Because they've been force-fed violence, and they've come to their own conclusions about who the villain is and who the hero is, and how the hero acts and what the villain does, and the neutral one who's both. See, they didn't have Gunsmoke and Matt Dillon and Rin Tin Tin and Tarzan and the different things that we had. In the 90s, we had in Living Color, we had so many different things to teach us to increase our conscious awareness of our intellect, so to speak. We start pouring into colleges, not just Black colleges, but all colleges, demanding our entrance into them. And most of us didn't know that there were gatekeepers in those communities, and that this education came with more than just your financial loans. It came with obligations to your so-called alumni, brother and sisters, and that they were under the thumb of their senior alumni, those that paid their way, those that donated and contributed and so forth and so on. And I want you to know that that kind of situation came from the Romans and the Greeks. I want you to know that the initiations and the so forth and so on into certain schools of thoughts. And we have the skull and bones, and we have all these esoteric and occult hierarchies. And what is it all about? Your beliefs, your thoughts, your side, which side you're going to be on, how you can be dependent upon it, how your child can be dependent upon to vote because of duty, because of what was given to you by the alumni, and what was given to them by the alumni. This is where the cult of pedophilia comes in. This is what you see in the Roman Catholic Church. And yes, I'm going to call it out, because I was taught that it is the greatest whore of Babylon. And when I look at what it has done to the children throughout the centuries, I'm not talking about what it's done to the adults, the wars and the this and the that and the that and the this. I ain't talking about that. We all see that. I'm talking about what is done to the psyche, to the moral character, to the inner child, to the cosmic womb. That we all can. When we hear something called an antichrist, and you see the governments that have fallen during history, but yet you see the same things playing out, the enslavement. You see the gladiators on the football field and the baseball field and the basketball field, and women and men. You see the sports and how they indoctrinate them into the colleges, and they pay for this, and you want a scholarship for that, and you got to do this, and you're going to serve us the rest of your life, and we depend on you for your vote so we can get our ways, so our money can stay right. Yeah, you're going to suffer, your people going to suffer, but you ain't going to suffer as bad as they going to suffer if you just come on. Powers and principalities are ideals. and philosophies put in place with an agenda. And again, this is knowledge. And I want to get you outside of knowledge, but before I can get you outside of knowledge into wisdom, you have to get the knowledge of who you are before you understand the wisdom of who you are. You have to get the knowledge first. And the knowledge is a hard knock life, baby. The knowledge, that's a hard knock life. The wisdom is putting the hard knock life down and not feeling responsible that you got to carry it anymore. Understanding that that was the first phase of your birthing period. You're birthing yourself, rebirthing yourself. That part of you has to die, and now another part has to be reborn. And you can't bring all that old shit with you. Can't bring that constipation, that stagnant, that cancerous, that anxiety, that self-hate, that low self-esteem, that I don't like I ain't with that, and you can't bring that to the next phase. All of that cannot enter into, that's ignorance. Wisdom will not allow it in her house, in her temple, in her era, in her frequency, in her sacred space, in her womb, in her yoni. Wisdom is not going to allow that kind of chaos and ignorance. Why? Because she's wise, baby. How many centuries, how many aeons? She gave enough time for you to get it out your system. And now they're going to be those who are able to get it out their system. And these are the ones I'm speaking to. These are the ones who are going to be the builders. These are the ones who need to know about the infrastructure and the structure of what you're going to be building. You are the temple. From the womb, all the material is there, instinctively and intuitively. There's nothing that you cannot manifest. There's nothing that you cannot create, because everything has already existed. Let me get to something else. I spoke about the spine is the wisdom of the divine feminine. When you weaken her, the body cannot ascend, stand, or rise. Beloveds, I want you to understand that. I want you to understand. I'm going to take this back to, once again, to the Bible and to the Elohim. And I'm going to go to, I'm going to go in two places. I'm going to go with Job and I'll go in Genesis where let me just go there. First, we will go with Job, and that is the conversation that God had with a lesser aspect of himself. This lesser aspect, or this frequency that was born through the cosmic womb, had the ability to roam the earth, to view the earth, to view those in the earth, under the earth, around the earth, whatever you want to say, to observe, unencumbered, and to influence certain beings, certain situations, certain things. Okay? And this spirit came back restless amongst the highest consciousness. And the highest consciousness said, "What's wrong? Why are you so anxious? What's going on? What's all this frequency? What's all this energy? What? Well, I've been roaming around in the earth and oh, you've been watching Job, haven't you? Yeah, yeah, I've been damn Job, and you won't let me get Job, and you won't let me touch Job, and yeah, that Job is just, his frequency is just too close. His frequency is almost up there with yours. That can't be, that can't be, that can't be, that can't. Mm, Wisdom say, okay, okay. You think you know why he's like that? Oh yeah, I know why he's like that. Like why he is. Cause you give him everything. You do everything for him. He got everything. That's why he's so happy. Cause he got everything. He ain't missing nothing. He you do it. You protect him. You. The highest consciousness. Okay. You want to test Joe? You go ahead. You can touch him all which kind of ways. But you don't get to touch your soul. You don't get to touch that. You don't touch that. And this lesser frequency, this lesser aspect on the totem pole down there in that root chakra said, okay, we about to have us some fun now. About to go test Job. Kill Job's kids. Had Job's wife talking about him, talking, you crazy. Why don't you just cuss God and die? Had his friends come. Man, what's wrong with you? What you done did? You done did something. With boils on, his body all tore up, he aching, he hurting, out in the sun with pieces of clay trying to put on the boils to stop. I ain't did nothing. I ain't did nothing. Oh, you done did something. No, I ain't did nothing. Well, you just need to curse God and die. You just need to say you did something, just something. No, I ain't did that. If this is, I'm not blaming nothing on God. Y'all ain't gonna get me to blame nothing on my higher consciousness, because I know my higher consciousness. I know my highest existence. If this is meant for me, then it's meant for me, and I got to take it, because that's more wiser than I am. Something is something I can't see, something I can't hear, something I don't know. But I ain't finna go blaming the higher consciousness for it. I'm just going to go ahead and I know it's going to make itself right. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. And I ain't got to do nothing but keep being me and keep raising my spirits up. So I'm going to sit right here and I'm going to raise my spirits. And I might cry, call out to God, and y'all might see me suffering. But in all of that, I ain't going to let my heart harden against my highest self. That's turning against me. What am I turn? I ain't finna do that. What nothing Satan could do, what nothing that lower frequency could do. Everything that he lost, he got back. 10 times, I think the scriptures say. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, whether you believe in the story or not, understand the wisdom of the word. Understand the wisdom principles. Understand the wisdom of the womb within the story. Next, was in Genesis. With the Elohim. And the division of languages There's a name for the Temple of Babel. Babel starts with an E. You can Google it. I can't think of it. On my Facebook page, I've written about it many times. It had an actual name to it. It's an actual temple that was being built. Okay, and it was being built by a community of human beings who were vibrating and who were creating conscious awareness and expanding it on a very high and level. Okay, and some of the Elohim, a group of them, decided that they were getting too close to a higher consciousness, and soon these ones who were doing this building and communicating and expanding their conscious awareness the way they were doing, soon they would be up there with the Elohim, boy. Soon they would be vibrating and could do everything the Elohim. Oh no, we got to shut this down. And so what did they do? Remember, you're dealing with who saw the creation of the worlds, of the universe. Okay, you're dealing with energy that saw the actual birth of the sun. Okay, that incarnated before the sun was made, that was in the womb before the light separated from the darkness. Okay, these are the frequencies you're speaking of. These are the frequencies that were unseen or seen, whether you want to call them aliens or angels or demons or fallen ones or whatever the hell you name, label, position you want to assign them. They looked upon this community, this village, these group of individuals who were consistently expanding their spiritual conscious awareness. And they stopped it. The Bible said they stopped it through the language. And Mama Spirit wants me to once again inform you that the womb is living walls and membranes that are built and shed with periods, cycles, and seasons. The language was that of separation. The language that was introduced, these ones to split up, these ones that were vibrating and communicating and expanding consciousness of existence in a way that even intimidated the Elohim. They still exist. They're still being born and are still here. Their wisdom. But you have to get past the language barrier of your ego and the silence that is you. That is your instinct and your intuition that you incarnated with. There are no letters to write it down. There are no signs and symbols to write it down. It's only a knowing. You have to tap back into that, and you have to rebuild back upon that. We have to expand that conscious awareness because the language barrier has gotten past us. And we are so indoctrinated and conditioned with self-hate and the lack of self-knowledge that we kill each other, that the scriptures in the Bible even prophesied about these times. Mothers would be turning against daughters, killing each other. That fruit which you gave birth to, that which your body nourished, that which you felt moving and growing within you, that wants to rise up and kill you. And you want to kill it because it came from you. All in the name of what? Thoughts. Thoughts that are influenced by feelings. Thoughts that are influenced by memories and emotions of chaos, of pain, of love, of something being taken from you that you had no control over, that you couldn't stop from being taken from you, stop from happening, that you agreed 100% with happening, and it turned out to be fucked up. Understand, this is way older than what you know, but it is within your capability to overcome it, to overcome that ego's voice, that identity of you being a lazy fat bitch. That's not me. If you could only see me, that shows me how ignorant you are. Bald headed, that's all you see? You blind as a fucking bat. And you don't even, and I ain't gonna even put that on the bat, because a bat got radar and sonar. You know what? You got to mature. I'm gonna leave you on the tree and just let you. I can't be mad at you because you ain't mature. And this is what I mean by we take it so personal, and it's ingrained, and we have to snatch ourselves back from it. And that takes discipline, you know. That, and in martial arts, you learn that discipline. You learn the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual discipline. And even if you're not doing the martial arts, read some of the books, look at some of the movies, and what it means. One of my favorites, of course, is Bruce Lee, Be Like Water. One of my seconds is Ghost Dog. And the Ghost Dog was a samurai who lived with a certain code, who committed to a certain code. And you have to understand what their Lord means to them, the aspect, the higher, to them, that is their highest consciousness. And they serve it willingly. They commit seppuku from it with no hesitation. The Elohim, that energy, nothing is new under the sun. Beloveds, with the earth doing her changes, there are a lot of energies that are going to come up. And a lot of these energies are going to be able to influence a lot of egos that are immature and ignorant. And you are going to have to learn to plant yourself in your stillness. Because if not, you're going to be drawn into the chaos and you're going to be lost. You're going to be swept away until you try to find roots again. And so get in the habit of just a minute, 2 minutes a day, just sitting and calming yourself and with your breath, with breathing. Google breathing techniques. This is YouTube. Go and look for breathing techniques that help you. Learn to visualize. I've got one, a visualization, one of solitude that was given to me just this year that has helped me in so many ways. It's like the fortress of solitude with Superman, where he went to get away, where all his ancestors' memories and voices were, the holograms and so forth, and he could communicate with them there, and it was away from everybody, all sounds and electricity and just everything, totally off the grid, just totally away from everything, okay? Even within your house, you can just unplug things and turn things off for half an hour and just sit. Learn to expand your awareness of yourself, of your breath, of your heart, of your true self, of your higher consciousness, in the stillness, in the silence that that is there, that is always there. It never leaves you. It has never abandoned you. It is always there because it is the highest, your highest frequency. It incarnated with you. It has aspects of itself that we call guardians, that we call angels, that we call ancestors, that we call totem spirits, that we call fairies, and this and this and this and that and that and that and this. All of these things coexist. Why? Because your conscious awareness manifested them ages and ages and ages ago. And energy is energy. It is only received, transmitted, transformed, ended. And everything is here for your benefit. Whether you take it like that or not, it is here for your benefit, if nothing else, to show you on the timeline where you are, to show you in the history of human consciousness where you are. Again, I started this show by saying we are getting ready for a cataclysmic event. This is the higher consciousness coming in to those who can receive it. And it's simply about upgrading your frequency and understanding that once you upgrade, you'll be able to receive revelations. You'll be able to see what you need to see, what you need. You'll be communicating directly with wisdom. It's not about knowledge. Okay. Again, the Batman thing. Vengeance belongs to God. Batman, Joker, darkness. What it is: sonar, radar, instinct, intuition, anxiety, so forth. Vengeance belongs to God's equals. Divine will carried out no matter what choices are made. Existence is what it is. So, the term vengeance belongs to God. What does that mean? Does that mean God's gonna rain down fire and brimstone. He gonna send people to hell. He gonna burn you up to a crisp. He gonna fuck you up beyond recognition. No, no. It just means that, just like in Job, the higher consciousness that it manifested itself on the earth and was looking at itself as Job, and the lower self come wanting to fuck with it, understood Job is solid. Job is plugged in, or Job is unplugged from the matrix. However way you want to look at it, Job is still connected to the womb. Okay? And so you can do whatever you want to do, but Job is going to be true to who he is. And I ain't got no questions on that, because it is what it is. Job is existence. Job is the perfect example of existence. If you want to know more about existence, go read the Bible. Go read the book of Job. Go look at the conversation that Job had with the higher consciousness about the Mazzaroth and the things that happen when horrific, vile, grievous wounds are inflicted upon you. What you see as your person, your personhood, your identity, your incarnation. Your highest self is looking at what is happening to your incarnation. I hope you're listening. You are not your incarnation. It is an aspect of you. You are something much higher than this physical temple vessel appearance, biological thinking machine. And what you are as a higher is aware of what is taking place in this dimension, in this season, in this cycle. Has access to all the multiverses and all the seasons and cycles. It's just observing. But you can communicate with that. You can ground yourself in that. That I am. I am that. But when you ground yourself in this, you got so many boxes and bags that have been given and taken. You don't even know who you is. It won't come out. That other way, existence exists. That's it. It is what it is. And so you have to choose. It's your will. Which you choose, which you give more value to, which you believe in more, which you allow to manifest more, which you allow to expand your conscious awareness. You're expanding your root, or are you expanding your crown? So, again, vengeance belongs to God, or God, higher consciousness, existence, whatever you want to call that frequency. It's going to have its way, wisdom. It's going to have its way regardless. So you sitting here thinking that you doing something and you doing something against this and you Elohim doing something against this. All of this has already been written. It's already been written. Every choice that you can make has already been accounted for and is already happening in some verse of this story that has already been written. What is needed is your conscious awareness to be in a higher frame of conscious awareness, in the manufacturing, in the manifesting of a higher frequency of life for paradise, for abundance, for equality for all, for healing, for longevity of life, for no more cancer. These things are within your grasp. You incarnated with them in your grasp. So you're sitting here blaming and wanting to get revenge against other aspects of yourself that have been influenced by lower frequencies of yourself and others. Because those are some of those are your lower frequencies too. Don't just think you're separated from these. No. You committed many atrocities. I've committed many atrocities, many lifetimes. That's why I'm here now, suffering with the awareness and the understanding of giving birth to myself, rebirthing myself. I've been talking about rebirth for a very long time. Check the internet. You'll see many different websites that I started. You'll see many different things. You'll see many different movies and books and blah, 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 based upon what came from this unique womb, this mouth. But I'm not hating on anything, like I said, because everything is everything. Existence is existence. And in the end, when the fat lady sing, when wisdom has said it all, vengeance is hers. Because she sat and she's watched it all happen. It all unfold. It all expand, just like she knew it would. Regardless of the path, regardless, well, this took 2 more years, well, that took 10 more years. Well, damn, y'all some dumbasses. Y'all didn't get that till 3 eons later. When you have no beginning and you have no end, do you actually think you're sitting up there counting time? When you have at your disposal the ability to control the Mazzaroth being the universes and the galaxies of suns, of moons, of stars, of planets. And you've already set each one in order in your creation. And everything else is now just unfolding the way you already did it. You sitting back watching TV, eating popcorn, while we sitting down here running around like chickens with our heads cut off, know how to be still. What did the elders tell you? Be still. Be still. When the storms and different things was happening, what did they say? Be still. They unplugged everything in the house. They turned off the lights. Whatever was going on stopped, okay? It stopped. And you sat still. You wasn't even talking and whispering. You better shut up and let God do their work. God doing his work, shut up. That's how I grew up, okay? That was respect. That was reverence. That was connection and understanding. You felt in the silence, in the stillness, you felt the presence of the Lord. You felt the strength of that storm. You were one with it. You knew it. And the animals and the trees and the lightning hit it. You felt it all. And you knew you were not separate from it. And so when God was doing his work, hey, when you witnessed it pouring down on one part of the street and it's sunny and dry on the other side of the street. Who is you? You better sit still. You better sit still. But see, the Elohim, the elite, these lower frequencies, whatever you want to call them, they love for you to be stressed and anxious. Do you know why? I'm going to give you an image that Spirit gave me to share with you. And that's okay. And I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't see everything in the chat room, blah, blah, blah. So sorry. But I'm going to give you this image. And this image is what stress and anxiety looks like. I want you to think of you filming yourself, doing whatever you want to do, talking, dancing, cooking, being with these, whatever. Just you filming you. Okay, and I'm sure you done did it on your phone plenty of times. And then I want you to speed it up times 100. Okay? Not 5, not 10, not. I want you to speed it up times 100. I want you to speed it up to the sound of light, to the speed of light. And I want you to understand that that is what has been taking place. That is how we have been living our lives. How you going to be still in that? How you going to be still in that? Who is there to teach you to be still in that? You're busy being a slave. You too busy putting in 40 hours. You too busy, you got lie. You too busy, I got to do that before I die, and I got to say this, and I got to do that, and I'm preparing for you, and I'm getting them. Be still. I moved out to California with my daughter. I don't even know if it's 3 or 5 years ago, okay? All I know is that was an awakening point for me. And I've talked about it on many of the talks. I've talked about it on my YouTube channel. I've talked about it on Facebook. But it was the dark night of the soul for me. Because my daughter had told, she said, Mama, I need you. I need you. I need you. You know, it's too expensive here and I need you. And so I left Wisconsin, 2-bedroom on the river. Okay? 2-bedroom on the river by myself. Doing fine. Doing more than fine, actually. You know, just coming into myself because I'm just now got an empty nest because my babies is gone, you know, and I'm fully automated and fully taken care of and self-independent and everything. I'm doing good, you know, and she calls, Mama, I told you not to move out there. No. Well, Kennedy's people is like, okay, I understand. Okay. His mama's sick. Okay, I get it. Okay. Mama, you come out here and help. Okay. Mama come out there and help. Don't you know, Mama packed up everything she had in her 2-bedroom house, moved out there because what grew in my womb called to me. And do you know when I got there, that child told me, Mama, this is my house. Okay, this your house. Okay, I'm going to go in this room. We going to argue, but I'm going to go in this room. Don't come in this room. This my room. Don't come in this room. Don't you know that child came in that room? Don't you know I just lost a big part of my so-called sanity when she walked through that room? Because to me, that was the ultimate disrespect and the ultimate lack of appreciation of what I had given up to come and be with you to help you. I wasn't some home. And, she was watching the real hip hop and the real wives and Keisha Cole and the diddy. Baby, I'm not one of them homeless mom. What? You really got your people twisted? What? You didn't forgot? What? Influence. Influence of her anxieties. Influence of her struggles. Influence of all her past demons, emotions, and feelings. Okay? And she in boxing mode. Okay? She in fighting mode. Fight or flight, baby. So who you feel most safe to fight with? Because you know they love you unconditionally. Okay? And so, I sit there and okay. All right. Okay. I'm sitting up there crying. Okay. You tortured me when I was a child and you abused me and no. Where was I at when I was doing all of this? Because I was the one taken away from my mama because of abuse and me sacrificing and working and giving your ass everything. That was me abusing you, giving you rules and telling you couldn't go to a dance because you didn't do your homework. And you wanted to run away to your uncle and his one baby mama and baby. This is not about telling my business, beloveds, because there is no business. This is about existence and how we exist and why we have been existing the way we exist and why we need to come together to have these kind of conversations. There's no shame. There's no guilt and there's no blame. Like I said, these things have been, we marinated in the wombs of these things for how many centuries? We are the descendants of slaves. When you read Maya Angelou's poetry, understand. When you read poetry of white people, understand. When you read poetry of Native Americans, understand the human spirit is what we're speaking on. The human spirit, okay? And the human spirit, that's that low one. That's that innocent one. That's the almost the subconscious one. Because that one is the one that is always influenced. And it always acts upon the influence. And so you got to get to know all of yourself. All of your bodies, all of your being, your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, and your spiritual body. And you've got to be intimate with each of them because each of them will speak to you. Them will manifest things and situations for you to learn more about them, to expand your own conscious awareness. So when you get into these situations and you find yourself in these circumstances, ask, what is my highest self trying to teach me from this? What am I being given? What am I missing? Before I respond, react, and be triggered and jump over there and strangle the hell out, what do I need? What do I need to see? Because I grew up with dysfunction. I brought her up in dysfunction. My grandbabies is experienced watching us like a damn tennis match. Dysfunction. How do you break this cycle? Conscious awareness and knowing yourself. And when you begin to know yourself and you began to do this kind of healing work, this being still, this getting yourself out of these stressful situations, stressful circumstances, stressful relationships. And a lot of people want to take, well, you should just forgive them and Baby, I listened to my girl say, don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie, he just a man. He doing the best he can. Well, you know what? Mr. Charlie can go do the best he can over there. And I'm gonna be over here doing the best I can over here. I love you, Mr. Charlie. But I ain't finna have that kind of frequency all up around. I'm trying to be still. Okay. And you trying to do the war dance. And that's water and oil. It ain't gonna mix. It ain't gonna mix. And so it's not about I am throwing you out of my life. I'm hating on you or I'm getting rid of you. No. If you loved me, you would say, you know what? She needs time to herself to get herself together. It ain't about me. But if you immature, it's all about you. Well, what about me? What about you? You need time for yourself. I love you enough to say, you know what? You need to be over there for a little while. And I need to be over here for a little while. And I still love you. Unconditionally. Unconditionally. But right now I'm putting me first. And I've never done that in my life before. But I'm putting me first. My frequency. My peace. My peace of mind comes first. And if you're interfering in that, then I got to put you on ice. I got to put you on hold. I got to put you in the timeout. You got to go over there. And if you want to take that any kind of way with your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts and your wounds, I cannot be responsible. Did you hear what I said? All of that was you. All of that was yours. Okay? All of that was your thoughts, your feelings, your wounds, your triggeredness, your hurt. I love you, but you've got to deal with your stuff. Okay? I'm dealing with mine by being over here and saying I can't deal with mine and deal with yours too. That does not mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't see you. Doesn't mean I don't associate with you. Doesn't mean I don't miss you. Miss our conversations. Miss our touching and missing you laying in the bed next. It don't mean that. It means I'm loving me. And if you love me like you say you do, work on you, boo. Don't worry about where I'm at, if I'm coming back, what I'm doing, who I'm doing it with. I'm working on me. And whether in this lifetime or the next, whatever wisdom has in the works for our existence, bet and believe, trust and believe, it will be so. But I'm not going to keep knocking my head up against this brick wall to satisfy your thoughts, your needs, your wounds. This world's thoughts, this world's needs. I'm right here and I'm good. And sometimes it might feel a little lonely, but then I just center and ground a little bit more. And I know that I'm not separate from anything or anyone. And that is the key to existence, beloveds. That is the key. Oh, okay. I got two more things, and then I'm gonna be done. Bottom feeders. I've been talking about those of the lesser frequencies, the lower vibrations, those who seem to can't go any higher than the root chakra. They are stuck in their passions and in their desires, and in their ignorance. They only want what they want, like little 2-year-olds. Okay? And then there are the bottom feeders that are not 2-year-olds, but they exist on stirring the shit pot and what comes out of the shit pot. That's their delicacy. That's their consumers of it. Okay? Even in the Bible, there were certain things that you were not supposed to eat in the Old Testament. And it was because at that time, many bodies were not being buried. Okay? That was before the mounds and the people were burying. They would just leave animals and carcasses and dead people and everything. And of course, animals would get to them and eat them, eat the human flesh. Okay? Pigs, birds, dogs, deers, whatever. You know, it was really about the biological hygiene. That's where the taboos of eating this and eating that came from. Because if you read in the Bible, you'll hear about the places called Gehenna and certain other places like that. And that is where people just tossed bodies, just like we have landfills. Just think of turning loose your animals and letting the animals go eat in that. But instead of it just being garbage and leftovers, it was dead carcasses of dead people, okay? Or live people, or people that had been executed or in wars, then half alive or whatever. And you just let the animals come and eat them up. You weren't supposed to eat that flesh. The flesh of those things that ate from the dead. That was unclean. It's unclean for your spirit. And that's why that's in the Bible. That's why you have all those lists. People nowadays still say that you are not supposed to eat certain animals. They have certain ways of cleaning those animals there. It depends on what those animals are fed. But it also, if you feel that, if you have a certain instinct or intuition that that is not for you, then listen to it. But don't throw others under the bus that don't have that instinct or intuition. Okay? That's judgment. Bottom feeders. Some people in your life are going to be bottom feeders. Not everybody is going to be an angel to you. Some people enjoy watching you suffer. They enjoy playing mind games with you. They enjoy the energy that comes from you when you're blue. Maybe you write better. Maybe you sing better. Maybe you cook more. Maybe you're more cuddly. Maybe you're more accessible. You have to understand people are in their own heads with their own thoughts, their own needs. We are all narcissistic beings. There's not a one of us that is not narcissistic. So don't get it twisted. There are those that don't give a damn. And there are those that are working on themselves. Okay? But you will always have the bottom feeders. They are the catfishers. They are the ones that patrol the bottom and stay down at the bottom. They don't want to go up higher into the light. They want to keep you down there, and they want to stay down there and eat your shit. And eat the shit that they started. Because it It's an addiction for them. It satisfies something with their biochemistry. Even though 10 minutes later they may feel like shit, they still got the hit. You've got to understand. And it could be nothing. Man, what's wrong with you? You had the best childhood. You was given everything, and you don't know what they got in their womb, from their womb. You don't know what they got from the DNA. You don't know what accumulated. You don't know what came through the womb with them. You don't know what kind of influence came with them. The last thing I want to get on is Bannon and Trump. And I know this is going to get on a lot of y'all's nerves, but it is what it is. And I'm about to put it in context for you. Okay? And you can say what you want to say. For me, it's not about politics. It's not about sides. It's not about ideas, ideologies. It's not about bloodlines. All of it is way before that. Way before the materialization of flesh. Okay? It goes back to what I first began speaking of with the abyss before the light, so-called light, separated from the dark. The dark being the most fertile, the most highest conscious awareness, and the light being a lesser light, wanting to separate itself and feeling separate from that wholeness, that holiness. Okay? And I want you to understand that that darkness is zero. It is nothing. And the light became everything. But it distanced itself from nothing. No thing. No thing is everything and no thing. But everything wants to be, the brightest, the best. But it always comes back to zero. That womb. Right now, what we're witnessing on this planet is the rebirth of the divine feminine essence, energy, frequency, womb, awareness, conscious awareness, expanding. And those who are able to carry higher frequencies are being reborn, born. And when you see those groups of beings attacking the divine feminine, attacking the womb, attacking her rights, attacking the babies, when you see the pedophilia, when you see the exploitation, when you see the infighting amongst them, understand what you're seeing. Know what you're seeing. It's been written about. It's been written. Nothing is new under the sun. It's all happened before. Understand that. Do not put your faith in man. Whether you want to say Republican, Democrat, Independent, white, black, orange, green, blue, woman, man, child. Do not put your faith in that. That's a form. That's a shape. It has a beginning and it has an ending. Look throughout history. Even the concepts that have survived are getting ready to do what? They're getting ready to end. The Aquarius age is about rebirth. It's about the changing of everything. It's about purging and cleaning, disinfecting, flooding. It's about filling up the womb with the waters of birth so that life can grow and expand within those waters, those living waters. We are living waters. We live inside a cosmic womb. Bannon and his contempt of court, and Bannon's whole crew and that whole Republican thing. Again, this is not about me taking sides. This is showing you and pointing you at what they're doing. What is their contempt for? The wisdom of wholeness, the holy existence of all. They support separation. And when I say they, I'm going to put it out there because I'm living in America, and I'm just going to say it, the Republicans. And I want you to understand, you can look at the history. This is, again, knowledge. But again, if we don't get the right amount of knowledge, we cannot understand the wisdom from it. We cannot glean. You gather the knowledge to get the wisdom. You get the wisdom through the experience of existing. Everything is set before you. Be still enough to look. Be still enough to see. Be still enough to hear. When you hear these beings supporting Trump, and you're my age, and you've seen what this man's frequency is all about and how it's been consistently that, and you don't see any change in that. You see it amplifying, magnifying, expanding, and you see it like a whirlwind drawing everybody else in, or a black hole drawing all these people in. And all these people surrender or are in his frequency, or they revere that frequency. And if you revere that frequency, then you cannot align yourself. You have chosen not to align yourself with the divine feminine, with the expansion that's getting ready to happen. And you have more or less aligned yourself with those Elohim that caused the chaos and the confusion in the first place and blew it up. And so there's a saying, get out of her, my people. See, there's a false church. There's a false vessel. There's a false Christ or Antichrist. These are the polarities. This is the mirror. One side you can say is positive, one side you can say is negative, and one is in the middle. The truth is in the middle. It never changes. Existence is in the middle. But the two polarities, they're always changing. That's their nature. But you have to decide what spectrum you're going to be at, how close you're going to be to zero, how far away you're going to be from zero, either positively or negatively. And positively is ascending, going into a higher conscious awareness, and negatively is descending, going into a lower, going back towards the root chakra instead of going up towards the crown chakra. And it's a choice, it's free will. And you've traversed that ladder or that scale, that frequency, that spectrum so many times. But in order to bring change into this now moment, you really have to be still. And there are a lot of things that are going to be presenting themselves for you to really pay attention to. And so when you feel yourself getting anxious, and when you feel yourself, your feelings drowning you, come up for air and breathe. Distance yourself. Just walk away. It's not about, it's about respecting your highest self. Respecting your highest self. That comes first. Learn to do that. And that is going to basically do it for this first time for me. So, Uda? I don't know if he's still here or if he's with another show. Let me put on my glasses so I can read this. Oh, they're so dirty. Hold on. Let's see. Family Court in the AM. I really love this powerful message. I'll title this one part one if you want to continue. If you want to start new, we can go from there. Okay. Well, this is good for me. And there we go. So hopefully he will come back in a minute. Okay, well, we will just go like this now.